What it do, Afro Nation? Welcome back to AfroCast, Afro Nation in Isolation. And we got you another episode. Now we got another familiar face, one of my boys that came back from previous episodes. It's Lionel Awudu. Lionel, thank you for being on the podcast with me today, man.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Nice. I really appreciate it, man.
Good to be. Yeah.
Now, I'm bringing up this new concept, where my guests introduce themselves. So why don't you introduce yourself, kind of sell yourself for the viewers?
Okay. So as you guys already know, my name is Lionel. I'm 20 years old. I go to university of study microbiology. I like talking about different topics, interacting with other people, sharing my opinions, hearing other people's opinions, stuff like that. That's the kind of thing that interests me. I like playing sports like basketball. I'm a very active person. I'm a very chill, sociable guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a very chill guy. So, that's who I am. Thanks.
That's decent, man. That's decent. I think the first thing we're going to get into before we go into our main topic, mainly, is your positive vibes. Now we had a previous episode where we discussed positive vibes and everything, and this was something I didn't ask the previous guest, but I want to ask you now, what kind of when you're looking for positive vibes, what kind of attracts you to a person, so to say?
It's positive vibes in the person.
Yeah,
so positive vibes. Okay.
Yeah.
If the person is generally like very cheerful, very like free spirited, very easy. Just they move and they live life in a very like as easy and as smooth as possible. I know like not every person's life is smooth, but they try and live life as if it was very like a cool ride kind of thing. I like that in person. And even if their life is full of problems, they still find a way to try and counteract that by trying to just face the problems head on and just trying to just keep on moving forward and not letting anything come hold them back or anything like that. I like that in a person. I really respect that. I like that in a friend, in a girlfriend, or anyone really. You know what I'm saying? I really appreciate that.
I mean, yeah, that's what it is, man. Like positive vibes for me, it has to be the main point in a person, because if you have a group of friends, let me say like a small group, it doesn't have to even be a large group, a small group of 3-4 people with positive vibes, or they kind of have positive vibes towards you. With that in mind, you're able to create something with those people, be it a business, be it a brand, anything. You can turn something into anything, if that makes any sense, with those kind of people. But what I'm trying to say is, like, if you have the right people with those positive vibes, you're able to achieve more than you can actually imagine, and the success is really worth it, man. Because if you're trying to create something by yourself, or you don't have the right people around you, it kind of decreases that level of commitment, in my opinion. And it's a mad thing, man, because you're trying to focus on everything, but then you got some guys saying, oh yeah, that's fine and all, but bruv, I don't actually think you can do it. And you're like, you're kind of losing that motivation because people are not saying the right things to you, which pushes us to our topic. Like today, we're going into success and commitment. Like, how important is your commitment to success? Is success just something you can actually just create on your own? And like, it's mad. Lionel, first thing I wanted to ask you is like, let me give you an instance. If you wanted to create a small branded business, how committed do you think you'd need to be? Now, this is something that could take years, so kind of look at it from your own perspective now, and probably where you see yourself in a few years.
You have to be 100% committed from the very beginning, from day one. You have to be really resilient, and you have to really know what you're signing yourself up for. Because like starting a branded business, right, when no one knows anything about your business at day one, requires a lot, especially in the beginning. It requires a tremendous amount of hard work, and that beginning stage is so important, because that's how you're building the foundation, you're building the basis of your business, and it's really important that at that point you commit as much as you can into that time to try and develop your business, to try and grow it. You know what I'm saying? So lacking some kind of commitment or lacking some kind of like dedication towards it will really make your business suffer. Or you want to achieve later on as much as you could have if you put that 100% commitment in the beginning, So that's why it's very important. If like you have to, this is what you really want to do in life, and this is what you really want to focus on in life, and you have to put your 100% in it. You have to put your all into it. You have to put your heart into it, because it's not going to work if you don't put all those things into it. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where it's so important, very, very important to really stay committed, and not just stay committed, but really be consistent in your commitment.
Yeah.
Of what you're doing. Be consistent throughout the whole journey and appreciate the journey. Don't just think about the end result. Oh yeah, I'm going to have a lot of money, a lot of capital, a lot of customers. Just think about the journey heading towards that direction, where you want to go, because that's very important as well, because you remember things, you learn things during the journey. That's why it's important that when you're doing something like this, you stay committed, you stay consistent, and you remember exactly what you've been through during that consistency, during that journey. That's why I believe like this. It's very important to be 100% into it if you really want to do this.
Straight up, man. Have you ever, like, because you've given a vivid description now, it's kind of raised a few questions in my mind. Have you ever like had something you were working on, like a big school project, like, or a project or something you were trying to create, and you had to stay 100% committed? Because right now you're giving me those proper hardworking vibes, innit?
Yeah. I mean, I've had small projects in school, like secondary school, whatever, like maybe science projects, whatever. But like with those kind of things, with me, the kind of person I am, right?
Yeah.
When I'm told to start something, I'm a bit late. But then when I get into it, I really want to perfect it. I really want to finish it as well as I can, as best as I can. Put my effort into it. So in the beginning, I'm a bit like this, and it's not good. But when I know that, oh yeah, you know what? I'm actually enjoying this. I'm actually like, I really want to make this really good and really, really prosperous. So I'll put my effort into it, I'll put my concentration, my focus into it, and then I'll make sure like I can finish it, and I can make sure that the project is completed the best way it can be, to the best of my ability, during that process. So like, yeah, there's been instances, even in uni as well, there's been instances where like we had to work in groups and contribute whatever, and whenever it was my sector of what to contribute to the project, I've had to really like put my all into it, because like everyone should. You have to really put your all into it and really put your everything to it if you want it to be as good as you want it to be. So yeah.
No, 100% agree with you. 100% agree with you. But like in like example terms, like me, like in a sense, let me use this podcast. Let me use this podcast as an example for myself. Like, fam, this was not my idea. This whole podcast at first was not even something I had thought of at the beginning. What first came into my mind was making films, or either short films or documentaries or anything related to film and everything. And likewise, one of my friends came up with the idea of doing a podcast, and I'm like, yeah, why not? A podcast sounds decent. This was Christmas time 2019. The idea was there, the zeal was there, and I was like, yeah, this is something I want to get behind. I want to help this person improve and everything. Bada bing, bada boom, we went into the whole podcast, and it was something we were creating, something that was looking nice. We got in a few people, but it was there that I realized that sometimes just commitment from one person is never enough in large scale, in large group things. We kept on going. We made three episodes. We made 3 episodes, and that was it. People having different ideas, people not being able to speak according, people not being able to communicate with each other was a very tough thing. But it turned into something that I no longer like wanted to help that person with, but then something I wanted to kind of show that I can work on this and turn it into something successful. It became my dream in a sense, yeah. And I became committed for the whole group. it got to the point that, oh, everyone was really shaking everything and people started cutting off, and it looked like something that was just an idea. And then I kept on going with it. It was Realcast before, turned it into AfroCast, started getting other people on it. And I mean, it's still a work in progress. Everything is moving. At some points I get stopped and I can't even move. You get this big, massive, whether it's a writer's block or it's an inspiration block, I can't do nothing. I'm literally banging my head on the wall, like nothing's there. And I finally think of an idea. It then for me, it then depends on how I can pass it across to other people. Sometimes it's how I start to worry about how I'm going to pass it across to someone instead of thinking of how I can improve it or how I can work on it. I have the equipment, I have the camera, whatever I need to do it, but it all stands on how I can pass my vision across, kind of getting the right people and the right mind state to actually sit down and focus on this set goal, because it's like a big goal that's just there. It's there right in front of you, but how are you going to grab that goal? How are you going to grab that bell, so to speak? That was the problem I had, and that's kind of the problem that I see most people having. How they start. You did mention, like, when you started, it's kind of slow. It's a slow start, but then you start to get that zeal and that inspiration, and you get faster and you start working harder on that project or that goal, and you're able to reach that goal. But for some people, once they hit that roadblock at the beginning, it's a massive roadblock that some of them cannot pass by. I've hit that roadblock more than 10 times, and I tell you, it is not something anyone can really go through without having the right group of people around them, because it's a lot being 100% committed and having no one. It's better to have 50% commitment and have 5 other people as committed as you than be 100% committed and have nobody in your corner, if you understand what I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah, of course. With that, let me start off with the writer's block. I think because we all get writer's block or any kind of blockage of any kind of sort, like, when you're thinking and all of a sudden you can't think anymore, and it just stops everything. Everything stops moving in your head. So what I would have to say about that is probably the fact that what we need to do is, in times like that, we need to remember and remind ourselves exactly why we're doing what we're doing. So try and start again, work backwards, and then start again from the beginning. Think, why am I doing this? Ask yourself very important questions. Why am I doing this? What was the reason? What was the purpose behind it? When you're trying to figure out those answers or find those answers for yourself, then you kind of have those things that inspire you, those motives that gives you a little bit more energy, a little bit more motivation, determination, in order for you to get past this writer's block, any kind of blockage, because this is a serious thing. Like, especially when people have tons and tons of ideas and then all of a sudden just shuts down, and it's hard to get over that. But you need to remember what you're doing this for and what your motivation was, and even the passion you have behind what you do. That's why with that, it's very important that you need to take that thing. It could be an object, it can be an idea, it can be a family member, it can be anything that will help you push you through this blockage. And what was the other thing you said about the commitment thing? I do believe you need to have a very good support system, support network, where people are just as committed as you, to realize your dreams and realize the prospects of your dreams. Because it's true, it's not easy, and it's very, very difficult to do everything by yourself. But with the help of others and the help of other people who have the same mindset as yourself and they want the same result too, then I believe you can be really, really extremely successful behind it, because you guys are all working collectively together to try and push through, to try and help each other. And especially even with the blockage, the writer's block, whatever, you turn to others, you see what they have to say about it. Maybe they can help you, get over this hurdle. Maybe they can give you an idea that would, make you surpass or go by, whatever kind of thing. It all helps together, so having a good working system, people who want this just as much as you do, will be very, very beneficial.
Yeah, 100%, man. You hit it right, spot on there. Like, this is this is your TED talk now, like, man. It's turned into something I can't even call my own. Oh man. Now, like, inspirations, yeah. What can I use? All right, cool. Now, I'd say you could call yourself kind of like a fitness kind of guy. Yes.
You?
No. You, like you, not me.
Oh, me?
Bro, what? Me fitness? Nah. Me and fitness don't go together. I mean, like, you still, like, yeah. Like, you could call yourself a fitness, like,
oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but it hasn't always been like that, like, from
yeah.
day one. How would you explain?
No. I mean,
how would you explain that grind? How would you really, like, go into, if you had to explain that grind? Because it's a level of commitment, and I'd say you've been quite successful, like, in how you went about your goals, in your reach for fitness.
For fitness, I would say it's more of a mental game than a physical one. I think it's more of a mental game because think about it. A lot of people out here, they think about what they want the ideal body to look like. You know, a lot of guys want 6 packs. A lot of guys want to have like a figure. So I think, but the thing is, you're imagining, and it's always going to be a dream to you. It's always going to be a vision to you. But you as a person, you have the responsibility for yourself to take action and to actually step out of your house and do what you need to do to get there. But a lot of people are afraid. A lot of people are
100%
not willing to push themselves that far because they're worried about, you know, potentially failing. And that's the thing with life, you know, because anything you could potentially fail, but then that's the most exciting thing at the same time, because it's not just going to be an easy road. It's not going to just be a direct road to success. You know, there's also the potentiality of failing, or this happening or that happening. So it makes it more interesting in a sense. I feel like, for me at least, I feel like it's more fun when I feel like, you know what, there's a chance that I might not do this very well as well as I would expect, but let's find out. Let me take the risk. Let's find out. Let's see what happens, you know, because I won't know if I don't do anything. And then I have to think, like, for the rest of my life, what if? But if I actually do something about it, let's see what happens. What's the result? If I fail, then maybe it wasn't for me. But if I actually push myself and actually show that determination, that resilience, and keep being consistent with that, then, you know, I don't see why I can't find success for me. So that's why with fitness, especially when I started the gym, I started going to the gym in year 10. Yeah, year 10. And I'm just doing a little small thing. I wasn't taking it seriously, small thing kind of thing. And then also, so playing basketball helped a lot as well, because I started playing basketball in year 8. So obviously I was always I was quite active, and I wasn't going too much in the gym because I learned about, you know, how the gym can potentially stunt your growth if you do it the wrong way. So I was just doing very small light work kind of thing. So as I grew older, I started, you know, pushing weights. I started doing more of these kind of things, and seeing better definition, better results kind of thing. And other people notice the same thing. They'd be like, you know, Lando, like, you know, you look good. You know, that kind of thing. They'll compliment you.
Man's looking hench.
And it makes you feel good. You know, it makes you... I try. But one thing about the gym is, like, it's one of the things where it's, and not just for physical improvement, but mental clarity as well. Because when you're doing exercise as well, especially when you're going through something, like, you know, maybe you have a mental illness or a traumatic experiences happen in your life kind of thing, it helps you just kind of like, because you want to have a method of release, right? And the best way to do that is through exercise, because, you know, through exercising, you're pushing something, you're really activating your muscles to push something, to really exert yourself, so that kind of energy comes out of you, if that makes sense, right? So then that helps you try and, like, channel that negative energy that you've been storing up inside here, whatever, outwards. So then when you're finished with it, you come out, you feel like a better person, you feel lighter on your feet, you know? You don't feel like you're carrying a heavy burden on your back anymore. It feels lighter, it feels like, you know, you can actually put a smile on your face this time. So that's why, you know, the gym is one of those things that's helpful for the psyche, for the brain. So, but yeah, and then the physical characteristics is just a bonus, I believe.
Man, 100%. No, I understand everything you had to say, and I can still relate. I can still relate it back to any form of commitment, any form of success. In terms, because like as you said, it's a mental game.
Yeah.
That mental game thing just literally stuck in my head right now. It's like everything is actually a mental game, because when you're about to go do something you really need to work on, I mean, fam, it's something you just actually think about. You want to go do something, it's something you're trying to succeed, and once you hit a roadblock, once you start having problems, that's when the mental games start coming in. You're like, oh, you can't do it, or something you can't achieve. This is going to be harder. This is going to be tougher. This is something you should just give up. Yeah. That's when it starts to affect you. It's no longer based on you. It's not like, oh, you doubting your physical abilities, but more of like you doubting your mindset, you doubting yourself as a whole. So when you kind of have that right positive environment around you, you're able to kind of get rid of that psyche, and they help build up you a proper psyche where you're able to push yourself beyond your limits. Because fam, if you're pushing yourself beyond your limits, it's always so satisfying when you become successful. Like how many times do I think about this podcast and how successful it could get? I think about it a lot. I think about it so much, to the point that I sometimes would doubt how successful I could get, because I'm not taking it as seriously as I should be. But then when those thoughts come in, I kind of now imagine the what I could the reward. I start to imagine the reward and what I could gain from this. Like, this is something that could be used as a massive following. This is something that could be used to spread truth. It could be something that could be used to bring people together. This could be used for so many positive things. This could be used for so many positive things in my perspective. So it's something that can keep you going, keep pushing you to the limits that you never thought you could actually achieve. You pass those limits, you then realize that you have more limits. So it's a crazy thing, this whole life game, man. Like, success is a mad thing to really look at. If you're looking at success the wrong way, you tend to end up at a level of success that is not your limit, or is not really where you were meant to land, if that does make any sense. But if you're looking at it the right way, with help from the right people, you're able to actually like push yourself forward and succeed with them. And when you're succeeding with other people, it's lovely, compared to failure and everyone else kind of turns their back on you. That's quite understandable.
That's true.
But inspirations. Now, when you look at inspirations, man, sometimes inspirations could be people, inspirations could be quotes, inspirations could be things, inspirations could be yourself, in a sense. I kind of like to do this thing where I would ask people, or I'll ask my guests questions that they can then ask me, in a sense where if I ask them a particular question, they can ask me that same question, like, to get my response. But I think I'll leave that for a later time. Inspirations really is something that anybody can actually bring, or anyone can say, oh, this is my inspiration, or why did you start working out? Well, I was inspired to do this by this. Or why did you start a podcast? I was inspired to do this because of this. I think for me, when I go into like inspirations in film and everything, aside from probably like my family, now my grandpa is like a big time African actor. He's a big time African actor, but then I'm not my grandpa. I'm just like, I want to be an actor too, but then I want to be better than my grandpa, because there are things my grandpa did not do that I want to do now. These are things that I want to go do, and I know that I can achieve them in a time like this. And then with the backing that I have from my family, the support I have from my friends, it's all a mad thing you can actually bring up together. It's like a big ball of success. Like, everything is laid out for you. All you have to do is just pick it up and put it in your bag. The bag keeps getting heavier, but as you keep lifting it, you're able to sustain and manage that bag. So with going into acting, I had to obviously had to study the equipment. I had to study how to use the equipment. I had to study acting and everything, which I'm doing right now and everything. So it all has its layers. It has its layers, which you have to kind of you have to move past through. You have the first layer when you kind of actually realize what you want to do. Then it then moves into how you start preparing and what you need to learn. And I mean, now we're at the podcast level compared to so many other podcasts. I'm just picking and put in place, picking and put in place. You pick something, you put into, you kind of integrate it into what you're doing, and it helps a lot because it not only makes your podcast interesting or makes my podcast interesting. It kind of teaches me what I need to do, or what I am missing, or what I need to add, all those kind of things that need to be implemented. I kind of learned that from Sylvester Stallone. Sly has been a really big inspiration for me in film and other stuff, like just little quotes, even a quote from Rocky. Have you watched Rocky before? Or do you know Rocky?
Yeah, I watched Rocky.
Nice. I think it was the Rocky 2007. I think it was probably the last Rocky show, the last Rocky series. And there was this, I can't remember the whole quote, but this part in the quote just got me. He said, it's not about how, oh, you probably do. Yeah, you probably do. It's not about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. Oh, you see, you know it. It was a mad quote that actually got me in my feels. It got me in my feels. And man's just there like, raw, like, bruv, this is actually true. This got me in my feels. It's something that I have not forgotten, and it's there as a way of inspiring me. I've never met Sly before. I don't know if I'm ever gonna meet Sly in my lifetime, but that is something that has touched me in a sense, because it's inspiring. It's inspiring. You got hometown heroes, whatever you want to call it, but when you have someone that is able to inspire you positively, it's a lot more. It's a lot more. It hits harder because you'd never expect. Sometimes you probably expect inspiring quotes to come from family. Sometimes it does, but when you get something really inspiring from someone you've never met before in your life, I feel that helps a lot. I feel that helps so much, and it kind of gives you the mindset that, hey, if an absolute stranger is giving you indirect advice, I mean, why not go for it? Why not challenge the whole world? But for you, man, like, what do you think has really inspired you to be who you are today, do what you do, the way you move, man? Like, I've known you for quite some time. You move with pride, not negative pride, but like, you're proud of the person you're becoming. You're learning from the mistakes you've made in the past, which I really recommend. Absolutely. Everybody should do. Like, you learn from your mistakes. Never think you're worth less because of a mistake you made, but you've grown into like a positive kind of person. But how did you get to being this level of Lionel Awudu? Probably you never really thought you'd be this person you are now. Maybe you did, but fam, like, what's the secret? Like, how did you what inspired you to keep pushing on? I got you on the spot.
One person I'd say that inspired me the most, probably from you do. You have it's fine. Cool, I like this. The one person that really inspired me would have to be, I think, from year 10 going to year 11. It was Kobe Bryant, right?
Big ups.
And it was just the way he would carry himself, the way he would present himself, even in interviews, even the way he is with his family, whatever kind of thing. You have to respect the man. You have to respect the man for the way he presents himself in general, you know, and the way he is on the court as well as off the court. On the court, especially, where this is the only thing he focuses on. The game itself, nothing else matters. Everything is just silent. Everything's one noise. And it's one of those things where I draw my energy and draw my strength. And that's what I've been doing, because that kind of man is someone that I really highly respect the most. And even this quote over here on my tattoo, there's a quote from him, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says, once you know what failure feels like, determination chases success. So that really stuck out to me because it's really true, and there's something about him that really is magnetic. He just draws you in, and it makes you want to seek the best version of yourself constantly, And everybody knows. I'm pretty sure a lot of people know about Mamba mentality, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where if you adopt the Mamba mentality, you can really do wonderful things. You can seek excellence from yourself in any kind of career path, any kind of area or aspect of your life. So that's why I've tried to do for the most part, And he has really inspired me 100%. And I know it's not just me, but a lot of other people as well. He's really inspired more than he he would ever know. You know what I'm saying? Because one of the things where, like with your Sylvester Stallone as well, you're in hopes that you might meet him one day or whatever kind of thing. But he doesn't know directly every single person he's inspired, but he knows that he's done something, he's contributed, right? And I know that Kobe Bryant's contributed into my life as well, and how I present myself into the public eye, into society. So it's one of those things where he's the way he teaches, being resilient and being consistent, always been hardworking, all those kind of things. I apply it to my own life, apply it to university, apply it to other kind of social relationships, any kind of thing. And, I really seek prosperity from those kind of things after applying his teaching. That's the kind of person I really, really want to model my life to somewhat to kind of his level, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's one person I would say has really, really inspired me the most. For me to be the person I am today, to be honest, because I walk around with pride, but a good kind of pride. And I'm not arrogant, but I'm just saying I walk with some kind of confidence.
Confidence.
I know that I'm capable of doing whatever I want to do. Your confidence is good. You walk with confidence. You walk with that kind of poise where you are capable of doing whatever you want to do. As long as you put your mind to it, you can achieve more than you were expecting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's cool.
But yeah, sorry about that. Nice. Cool. But yeah, you can do whatever you want to do, and that's the kind of ideology I want to adopt and continuously want to adopt, even not just for myself, but for the next generation. I want to inspire the next generation as well, and even my own children as well, just to try and have that kind of strong mindfulness and strong resilience that, if I really want to do something and I really want it bad enough, I'll find any kind of possible way to make it happen. And I remember all the teachers along that way, everything that I learned, all of my mistakes, all my failures, my miniature failures, that'll help me become the bad person I want to be in the future, that I'm the ideal person, the best person I can possibly be in the future. That's the kind of thing. That's the kind of person that's inspired me to do those kind of things.
I stand by that mentality, man. I definitely 100%, man. I stand by that mentality. That's what we need. That's what we need as individuals. From before you get into a group, always try to have that mentality, because if you put yourself in a group where that mentality is not even seen, you begin to adopt a negative mentality. And you see yourself in tougher places you probably never imagined. But fam, I'm glad we got to know people like Kobe Bryant, Sylvester Stallone, more celebrities that have been able to inspire people like us, people all over the world, to do bigger, to do better stuff, to do bigger and to be better. So it's a really humbling thing to hear a fellow brother give off his own experiences and his own level of inspiration. But since we're nearing the conclusion of this episode of AfroCast, just one more thing for our viewers to know before you can ask me any question you probably like in terms of this whole podcast. Where would you see yourself in the next 15 years with this mentality you have adopted for yourself? Where would you see Lionel Owudu in 15 years?
Where I see myself in 15 years is someone who has finally realized his career prospects. He's finally, not just very comfortable, really not just financially comfortable, but just actually like feeling comfortable within oneself, you know, just feeling the most happy, the most proud of myself because of the things I've achieved, the people I've inspired as well. I want to be in a position where I can say, yes, like in 15 years time plus, you know, I am in a position where I can safely say that I've done so much to contribute to the world, to society, and to the next generation. I want to be able to say that, and not just through like advising people, but through my work ethic, my work ethos. You know, I want people to see that and to actually be inspired as well. The way Kobe Bryant inspired me, I want people to be inspired by me, you know, for themselves, and to continue this inspiration kind of chain, you know, for the next generation keep on going onwards. So it's one of those things where I want to have a good family unit, you know, and be strong in my family. I want a strong supporting wife, and strong children as well, and you know, people just a strong unit, a strong unit to really push forward, to really just try our best, and that's all we can do in life, you know, to try very best, you know. But yeah, that's where I see myself in 15 years, honestly. You know, obviously like financially stable and everything, I definitely get to finance, but that's where I want. That's where I want to be.
That's lit, man. That is lit. That, you know, that's beyond lit, man. That's crazy. Like, you just, everything you got is down here. It's in here, man. Like, big ups to you, man. Big ups to you. Thank you for being on the podcast. Obviously, like I said, we're nearing the conclusion. So, any questions you have for me, the host of AfroCast, any questions you have for me in terms of this whole conversation, go for it. Where would I see myself in the next 15 years? I had a feeling you're going to ask me the same exact question. You know, you're just a copycat, man. Like,
yeah.
Raw. Okay. So in 15 years, in 15 years, well, I see Leo Duce. I see myself, well, I see a young man that has finally accepted himself for who he is, for who he has meant to be, for who he was meant to be. Like someone that does not live to please other people, someone that knows his worth in a sense where I can come out and stand on my own, but then I'm able to say that I have people I depended on and they depended on me at certain levels of my life. I see someone that is able to change aspects of the world just by how I choose to live, just by how I choose to address other people, or how I decide to bring out films, because that's what I love, man. Like in doing what you love, you have to be able to implement what is right. If you kind of implement what is right into what you enjoy, you begin to spread a message that everyone can understand. Most people, that even if someone does not understand that message, is either they are having a hard time going through it, or just they've just chosen not to accept it. I really want to be successful. I want to be successful, and I know that is not a really easy thing to do, but I know that I have faith. Like, that's another big thing that always comes in with my life. I have faith. I've been surrounded by a family that has always had faith in God. So when we put our faith in God, all we have to do is play our part. So if I continue to play my part diligently and I inspire people on the way, that's a win-win for me, man. So obviously, yeah, like you said, financially stable. I want to have a family. I want to be able to teach my kids. I want to be able to learn and love with my wife. I want to be able to experience what every man or what every person experiences that makes life so worthwhile. But then I want to be able to make life worthwhile for others as well. I want to be able to spread that joy and that happiness, that wisdom as well to other people. And if I can do that, then I know that my life was complete, that my life is complete on this earth. And it's a big up. It's a big up there, man. So that's me answering your question.
That's I'm even with the being strong with God as well, and having strong faith. God, man, anything can happen. You can realize all your dreams, all your passions, as long as you keep God first. You know,
Yeah, man.
it's very important to do that. Plus,
Sure.
anything you want to do, anything you want to believe in, you have to do. Pray about it. You know, you just worship, show signs of worship. God will provide. You know.
True.
In His own time, in the time that's best for you, of course.
Oh yeah, obviously the time that's best for you. I just remembered a quote my mom just gave me literally today, and it's one of the reasons why I even decided to use this whole episode to bring out success and commitment. She was like, I was telling her about the podcast and how I decided to get back with it and doing more stuff, and we talked. She saw that I was happy and I was content with what I was doing, and she said success isn't convenient. So success does not come at the time you feel you want that success to come. It's not something that comes at your leisure. It's something you have to fight for. It's something you have to push for. Like it's really self-explanatory. And I was like, raw, that makes so much sense. I wanted to actually tell her that, oh yeah, that makes so much sense. I was like, oh yeah, I understand. But I mean, you don't want to make your mom's head swell too much. So like, I'm just like, yeah, it makes so much sense, and I really understand that. And I was gonna share it with you and the viewers as well. Like, success is not convenient. Whenever you feel you want to push for something and it's something you really want to succeed in, you don't have to wait for that success to come. Always be willing to push yourself to search for that success, to seek that success. Because when you do, it becomes worthwhile. I mean, definitely, success is always worthwhile when you know you've worked hard for it. So it's something everyone has to push themselves towards, something everybody has to seek. Seek and you will find. You ask for it and it will be given unto you. So with that, we're gonna end it. It's been AfroCast. You know what it is. We're sending you episodes, hopefully more episodes coming up, more people coming up, more vibes, more inspiration, more success to you, my people. Thank you, Lionel, for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it, my brother. Obviously, next week, gonna be seeing you soon, man. Gonna be seeing you soon. It's all a matter of time. So what you know, man. It's been AfroCast. I'm Leo. This is Lionel. God bless you. Take care. Wagwan.